This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning everybody. So today we'll discuss intrauterine growth restriction or IUGR, growth retardation restriction, small for gestation age or small for death. That is all this thing. In this chapter, what we'll discuss today is definition. What is IUGR? IUGR. Then what is the etiology, etiopathogenesis, what is the cause of that IUGR, that is also. Then other thing we'll discuss in this chapter is, that is, this is diagnosis, and finally that management, that is also complications of this IUGR and management. So intrauterine growth restrictions, IUGR, all for gestation age, all these are synonymously used, all these things. So first thing we'll discuss the definition. What is the definition? Etiopathogenesis, why there is the cause of this IUGR. Then next thing is, that is the diagnosis, how to diagnosis, because early diagnosis has better prognosis, early diagnosis, and that is also complication. You should know if there is IUGR, what could be the problem or complications of this. So once you know the complication, will manage accordingly. That is also that how you will manage antenatally, intranatally, and post. That post. So we'll just continue with this and this thing. So definition, that is sonographically estimated fetal weight below the 10%. Earlier days before the ultrasound, that is small for that all these things. That is intrauterine growth. After delivery, they weigh the baby, and that they'll decide which one is that is small for death or low birth weight, all these things. Earlier days before the ultrasound, it is low birth weight. After delivery, they'll weigh the baby and put 100 baby, the same gestational age, they'll weigh all these things. Then they'll decide who is the IUGR or who is not. So basically, the sonographically estimated fetal weight below the 10th percentile for gestational age. So any baby beyond the 98th and 10 is there, that is it. If it is a 10 to, that is 90%, that is normal for gestational. If it is less than 10th percentile, that is IUGR or small for gestational. And if it is that, how they'll do percentile with particular age group, suppose 37 weeks or 38 weeks, baby are delivered, they'll just put on gram, put in the table, all these things. Those fall below 10th percentile, that is we'll call, that is also. So 100 babies, some age in particular area, they'll take all these 100 babies and that's weighing all these things. If they fall below the 10th percentile, then that is 10th, then we'll call that estimated low birth weight. Fetal growth restriction for the gestational age use. I told you fetal growth restriction, IUGR, small for gestational, so low birth weight, they've been used synonymously. Little bit controversy is there, but still it is there. So normal growth of this baby, how it occurs? Totally growth of the baby occurs because it depend upon the genetic factor. First thing is genetic factor and health of these babies, all these things. Then other thing is nutrition. What nutrition you have provided? Maternal nutrition, whether that maternal nutrition is going to baby or not, that depend upon all these things. So it could be anything, that is also. So genetic factor, because what is racial genetic factor is also there. Health status of this baby, that mother nutrition, what she is giving, whether she is getting adequate food or not, that is also, and all this food, whatever mother is taking food, whether it is getting, baby is getting all this food from mother or not. So it depends upon all these factors. So normal growth factor depends. Mainly the growth is depend upon whatever mother is consuming. So first thing is, again, from this food, of nutrition, what she get for food, all this diet, whether it is consumed properly in the form of oxygen, glucose, and amino. These are the main three things required for fetal growth oxygen. So it is oxygen, glucose, and amino acids. These are the main factors which determine this baby's growth, baby's weight. So normal fetal growth, all these things. First thing is earlier is there is cellular hyperplasia. There's multiple cellular division occurs also, embryogenesis, all these things. Cellular hyperplasia within first 16 weeks, 12 to 16 weeks, the cellular aspect. Then again, after that, that is up to 36 weeks, hyperplasia and hypertrophy. Hyperplasia, increased number of cells, and there is increased size of cells. So hyperplasia and hypertrophy, that is all this thing is there. Increased number of cells, and that's why baby grows all these things. And after 30 weeks, there are no more hyperplasia, there are common cell division, only hypertrophy, increase in size of the cell. So first thing is cellular hyperplasia, and hypertrophy up to 32 weeks, and after that 32 weeks, it is a hypertrophy, increased size of this. So this is all this thing, basic thing is there. That is pathogenesis. What is affecting growth of the baby? All these things. So first thing is majority. Majority is all these things pathological is. We'll discuss other detail, but since it is that placental insufficiency, placenta is responsible for almost 70 to 80% of all these things. Placental circulation. We'll just discuss tropoblasis in the placentation, abnormal placentation, like what we have read in preeclampsia. Also, abnormal placentation. Tropoblasis invade the uterine, or that is a placental blood vessel. That is a spiral artery, uterine artery, spiral artery, that is invade the intimal layer, and that increase the caliber of this all this thing, dilate all this thing. So that is a tropoblasis invasion of the spiral artery or uterine artery also, which is just around the chorionic villi. That is. So that's why if it is dilated, then it accumulates more blood. That is. So that is what I told you. So this is some the intimal cells of a layer of this that uterine artery. That is also when it is not all this thing, the structure, there is a vasodilation. You can make out that is all this thing is normal case. Here it is abnormal. That is all this thing. So if it is dilated, that is more blood is supplied. Here is a constricted, there's a less blood is supplied. That is also the preeclampsia, like all this thing. So this is the pathology, what is going on. Main pathology of almost 70 to 80% patients are having this problem. So this is malnutrition, all these things. So when there is a less oxygen supply, definitely fetal growth. The fetal growth indices, that is all these things. How the fetals will grow all these things. Initially, the small baby, small fetus, small embryo, all these things per day growth all these things, 5 grams per day at 42 fetus. But when it is increasing at 20 weeks around, that is a 15. That is a average weight gain of the baby. That is all this 50 to 30 to 20 weeks. After that, 30 to 35 that is. After that, growth rate decreases because of the maximum growth achieved by 34 weeks of the thing. Thereafter, there is a hypertrophy of the cells. So cells increases, baby size increases. So this is all this mechanism, all this thing is there. I told you all these things in just center because there is a lot of confusion, pediatrician, gynecologist, all these things. And it depends upon outcome of this baby. So based on the weight of this baby. I told this normal Indian people, if any baby is weighing less than 250 grams, 250 grams, 2.5 kgs, then we'll say low birth weight. Very low birth weight, 1.5 kgs. all these things, extremely low birth weight, less than 1 kg, less than. So this is all this thing according to the baby weight, that is also. And percentile, I told you, same age group, same period of gestation, delivered same area locality, they'll put 100 baby in graph, all these things. Any baby is less than 10 serial, then we'll call less than 10%. That is all this thing is there. So again, that is a 10th percentile, 19%. Again, they have divided. Again, if it is that's very small. If it is less than 3, that is poorly affected. That is also. But we are taking 10th percentile. That is also. So if it is more than 90th percentile, it is large for gestational age. All these things. So this is all this thing is there. Normal age for that is average gestational age, that is normal, that is 10 to 19%, this is normal. So this is all this thing is there. When we find this abnormal, that is a low birth weight baby, all these things, there are so many type of classification. All this thing is there. So this may be, that is it. Before the age of ultrasound, it was only small for that, all this thing is there. After the ultrasound is yes, we can know this, maybe little more of this thing. Symmetric, asymmetric. When you measure all these things, that is, then you'll see symmetric and asymmetric. Because on this earlier days, it is a low birth weight, all these things. Now it is symmetric, asymmetric. And sometimes it's combination of all these two, that is intermediate. So intermediate, that is a combination, symmetrical, asymmetric. So that is also in symmetric baby, this growth pattern, because mostly it is genetic in origin, genetic in origin. Here this baby is all this thing is there. Size is normal. Normal anatomy is proportionately normal. Head circumference, abdominal circumference, that is normal. But total weight is less. Total weight is less. That is all this thing. But in case of asymmetrical, here we will that discrepancy. Here it is a head circumference is normal, whereas abdominal circumference is less. That means baby is nutritionally affected, liver, glycogen, all these things, small child itself. So, in case of that is symmetrical, both head circumference, leg circumference, that abdomen is normal. That is only weight is less. Here, what happened? Head circumference is bigger, normal, but decrease abdomen. So, global hypercellular, all these things. Here, that is also that is cellular number, cellular hyperemesis is impaired. That is, there is no much cellular hyperplasia, all this. And here it is, that is also cellular hyperplasia. So that is all these things is first on vital organ, particularly that is also. And timing, it is in effect, most of these symmetric baby affected are this, since it is a chromosomal infection, all these things, fetal abnormality, fetal malformation, it affect in early gestation. Asymmetrical mostly after during third trimester or after 34 weeks. There cannot be hepatocyte cells. So this is all this thing you will find all the symmetrical, asymmetrical resistance. Risk factor. So there are so many risk factors. So we have first placental risk factor, majority is placental insufficiency, but there are risk factors there. So what are the maternal risk? I told you maternal factor. Risk factor again will divide. This is maternal, fetal, and other of. So maternal risk factor, that is one. So these are all these things is a medical disorder and so maternal is almost 80% case of this. Whether it's early pregnancy or late pregnancy. So teenage pregnancy or it is That is also elderly pregnant or elderly pregnancy. That is the pregnancy later after 35. Newly pregnant, most of the talent and weight, this is BMI, patient condition, patient health condition, all these things. So BMI, that is also, if it is less than, again there, if it is more than, extreme BMI, that is very low and very high. That is also, that both are affected. And in exercise, daily laborer, all these things, sport person, daily laborer, hard workers, all these things. Also, others is substances, smoking, alcohol, drugs, and medications, all these things. And maternal is again medical disorder, hypertension, basically placental implantation, all these things. So this is diabetes. If it involves vascular nephropathy or diabetes, if involved vascular, sickle cell anemia, if it is anemia, definitely it low birth weight, cardiovascular disease, same. So other causes also medical causes. Obstetric history, again we'll find out whether she had some obstetric cases, history of previous stillbirth, small baby, preeclampsia, pregnancy. If it is pregnancy is too frequent or very follow, then also you'll have. And any other obstetric condition, heavy bleeding, placenta previa, this is preterm abortion, all these things, PIH, all these things. This all involve this is fetal condition. I told you it affects early in the subject, genetic factor like trisomy Down syndrome. All these things is there. So single gene mutation. These are genetically for you. At least you know that. And other thing is infection. Torch infection, toxoplasm, it is rubella, all these things. So if it is cytomegalovirus, toxoplasm, that is a simplest of it. Tox, all toxins and metabolic disorder sometimes you can. Okay. So this is all this placental causes, again chronic separation, all these things. So abnormal, that is abnormal placentation, we have discussed all these things. Abnormal placentation, that is circulation is in placental insufficiency. And other condition is suppose in abruptio, the placenta will shift. Placenta previa, sometimes they'll implant towards lower segment, all these things, maybe over spar, all these things. So circulation is impaired, that is all. Sometimes circumvallent placenta among the infection, sometimes we have cord marginal cord insertion, umbilicus, bacteria, that is also that is filament insertion of cord. All this term is also responsible. So these are placenta. So there could be this maternal condition, fetal condition, and placental condition. Maternal condition, what are the maternal conditions on this thing? AS factor is there, nulliparity, BMI, all these things, any alcoholic, the top, any this thing. Medical condition, hypertension, preeclampsia, eclampsia, diabetes, cardiac disease, all these things. So this is all this obstetric condition, placenta previa, all these things is here. So these are all these conditions responsible for health. So then all these things, once you know all these things, is how we'll know this. That's why I told you how we'll assess all these things is monitoring fetal cord assessment. So according to the chart, we'll put on graph all these things, we'll take baby weight, put on graph. If anytime it deviates from this 10 percentile or 9 percentile, 98 percentile, always. Basically, IUGR, if it is a less than 10 percentile, then we will have the test. So when you know all these things, let us also that what we will do on this. So we need to surveillance fetals. We of course will discuss this later when it is after diagnosis. So once the diagnosis is IUGR is there, then we have to follow up with fetal surveillance. Fetal surveillance is constant monitoring of the fetus, The surveillance could be antenatal, intrapartum. So we have to mention in antepartum all these things, fetal movement is there. Antepartum, fetal movement is there. So that is also again you can say daily fetal count, non-stress test, biophysical profile, amniotic fluid index, growth parameter, gradual serial ultrasound, whether baby is growing each week or not, all this. Sonographically will just determine and condition of the baby and that is if asphyxia is there or not. This is the plus study. So this is so before we make that diagnosis, once you have to confirm the diagnosis. So how will confirm? Like any other disease, like any other disease, history. That is a very important. Clinical examination, risk factor, previous risk factor, what are the risk factor, medical risk factor, diabetes, preeclampsia, anemia, cardiac disease. And that is also, once you diagnose a determined gestational is very important because diagnosis, sometimes patient may not remember their LMP, all these things. So there may be misdiagnosis, underdiagnosis, overdiagnosis, all these things. So it is very important. You should know the gestational age of this baby. That is month. That is also period of gestation. Then we can label it IVR. So it is very important. You should take proper history. Do not miss risk factor. That is very important to estimate that if she doesn't remember LMP, all these things, we have to early ultrasound. So that is ultrasound to know the period of gestation. So that is other investigation. What we will do is all these things, blood protein, because we want to know the cause of all this. If hemoglobin is less, anemia is. That is also it is a other thing is there. Then we have to find it. So ultrasound. This is blood grouping. Most of this if it is RS typing, maybe that is RS isoimmunization. All these things. CUE, it is a repeated urine infection, all these things, urinary infection. That is also is very important. If repeated, it is associated with low birth weight, all this viral marker also, if it is rubella, cytomegalo, all these things, you have to rule out all this. Any coagulation factors, all these things. Ultrasound, what we are doing is fetal biometry, is estimation of fetal weight, all these things. Placental grading, that whether baby is mature or not. NST, biophysical profile is also. Doppler assessment. That is, the severity of asphyxia. If it is a Doppler, all these things, severity of asphyxia. That is. So that is as a serial measurement. So that is also from history what we will take. It is if she is the age of the patient, we know that is also age of the patient, whether it is adolescent, whether it is elderly age group, that is also genetic. If it is the other history will see whether she had previously IUD baby, preterm baby, IUDs, all these things. We'll take history, all these things. Whether she had any other, whether she has exposed to that is radiation, all these things, that we have to take from history, whether she has multiple pregnancy, all these things, whether it is associated medical condition like hypertension, diabetes, renal disease, all these things will get information from. So other is an examination. I serial measure every time we are antenatal case because we are every time patient come to you will examine the patient. Here again we'll see first and this weight of the height of the BMI is more or less. Again other thing is per abdominal examination, abdominal fat, all these things. We'll measure each for 4 weeks after second trimester 2 weeks and after after 37 weeks every week. So we'll measure that is a uterine fundal height. At 12 weeks, it is around just palpable. If it is 24 weeks, it is around the So 24 is umbilicus. If it is 36 weeks, it is GP state and gradually reduce. So we have to make this also serial. If any discrepation more than 4 weeks, then we'll suspect IUG. But before that, you have to make sure there is no uterine abnormality, there is no pulmonary, there is no infected rectum, all these things. It will just alter your finding, all this. Again, other thing is symphyseal fundal height. You will just measure fundal height from symphysis, upper border of the symphysis, BBs, all these things. So it is found increased by 175 between 14 to 2. And since it is correspond, the spindle centimeter is correspond to period of gestation after 24 weeks. So any discrepancy more than 4 weeks suggestive of IUG. If more than 6 weeks, it can be severe IUG. That is all this thing, but it has to be confirmed in other things. So first thing, simple para-abdominal examination, symphyseal fundal height measuring centimeter, and any discrepancy will label as IUG. Sonographic also evaluation, all these things. Now it is very helpful, not only in the IHR, but it is type of IHR. That I told you, it is a type of IHR, whether it is symmetric or asymmetric. That is also. And we monitor the fetal condition, whether baby is in asphyxious condition or in normal healthy baby. This is all this very important in case of this. So ultrasound has helped a lot in this improvement of the morbidity and mortality of this. That is also fetal baby or IH. Fetal biometry, placental morphology, amniotic fluid. Basically, what is the fetal biometry? All this. Fetal biometry, again, we are estimating BPD. BPD, serial measurement of serial measurement, that is every 4th weekly interval. But particularly second trimester and third trimester, particularly after 28 weeks, it is very important of this thing. Because pathologically, that is affected baby will be the abnormal growth pattern after 30 weeks or 30 weeks. So that is also. So that is after 30 weeks, it will be way more affected baby. If it is falls below the 10 percentile, will level. So BPD, more accurately, head circumference. Head circumference. What is head circumference? So head circumference, BPD, head circumference image. BPD on from this at the mid cerebral level, mid thalamic level, from this inner one side inner border of this fetal to other side outer border. So BPD is measured. Head circumference at this mid level, thalamic level, you'll find this circumference. Transcerebral diameter. Again, it is very important. They don't affect with this fetal or restriction. So this is very important. Transcerebral circumference. So this is also and comparing it other. This is all measurement with this. The fetal weight, more to say accurate parameter of this thing is sensitive. That is also. So other thing is beard disease. Huh? So that is the answer. So any less than, that is what that abdominal circumference, less than 12 minutes, 14 days has a sensitive. So I told you abdominal circumference, it is very important. Most of the IUGR baby will have reduce abdominal circumference, and that is head circumference is relatively static or constant in case of IUGR. So this is very important. That is so that is all this thing. So here it's just a ratio between head circumference, BPD, and that is abdominal, sorry, head circumference, abdominal, sorry, femur length, and that is abdominal surface. Femur length also does not affect with IUGR or pathological process. Remain same. That is. So any increase in that is also it level is IUGR. Placental, but all these things, what we'll see is placenta is where that is. So placenta, grading of the placenta. In early pregnancy, placenta is homogeneous. Homogeneous. That is. You can see here it is a homogeneous. Grade 1, that is when that is also this random ecogenic calcification. Here and here the calcification is here. In grade 2, it is inverted comma shape. This is inverted comma shape. You will find that inverted comma shape in this page is here. So that is the inverted comma shape. You will find that is also in grade 3. There is a fallout, this calcification processes. Anything beyond the grade 2, that fetal lung is mature. It indicates fetal lung is mature. So when you see that grade 2 placenta or grade 3 placenta, you assume that fetal is healthy, that lung is mature, almost. So amniotic fluid volume index. Again, we'll have amniotic fluid volume index is associated with this. When there is a less perfusion, fetal matter circulation is less. When there is a less blood supply, then what will have that again the renal perfusion is also less. When the renal perfusion is less, again amniotic fluid will less. That is all this thing. That process it indirectly it suggests IUGR. And most of the baby of IUGR will have decreased amniotic fluid intake. So it is measurement of amniotic fluid with ultrasound with deep resistance. So measurement of amniotic fluid index by ultrasound is very simple. So how to measure there is will measure that is also amniotic fluid in 4 quadrant. Abdomen is divided in 4 quadrant. Upper left, upper right, lower left, lower. And this ultrasound will measure each pocket at this thing. So that is also in centimeter, each pocket in centimeter. And AFI is the sum up of all the 4 quadrant is the sum up of the amniotic fluid in that is the depth of Leica in 4 quadrant and sum up that is AFI amniotic fluid index. So 4 quadrant, sum of 4 quadrant, if it's between the 8 and 25, that is normal. 8 and 25, it is normal. If it is less than 8, that will say it oligohydramnios. If it is more than 25, it is polyhydramnios. So again, it is associated with abnormal growth of the baby. If you are measuring single pocket, normal is 2 to 8 centimeter. If it is single pocket is less than 2 centimeter, 1 centimeter will fall is. If it is more than 8 centimeter, is digestive problem. So that is the depressed pocket measure is the method. Current evidence is to support single depressed pocket measure. So this is perinatal mortality in growth restriction has been found to be significant so far. When there is a IUGR baby, mortality is very high, as high as 40%, depending upon this associate medical problem or the fetal problem, it could be more than 50%. So it is a very important. That is also. So that is answer. So this is very important. That is answer. And other thing is the condition of the baby. That is all this thing. So then other thing is we are doing that is Doppler blood flow. Normal blood flow to the fetus is good or not. By the method of measuring the uterine, that uterine umbilical cord, uterine or ductus venosus. If there is any decreased flow to the baby, particularly majority of the circulation the baby get from ductus venosus. When it is connected, the ductus venosus or the liver automatically goes to the inferior venous supply blood to the heart. All these things. If it is a decrease, that is a reversal flow absent, that means patient's baby is in asphyxiated. That is also should be delivered very promptly on this thing. Other will baby will die inside uterus. So IUD on this thing. So we have to be very careful when we detect the IUD. We have to monitor like fetal movement, NST, biophysical profile, and nor that is the blood flow. That is. So that is also with the Doppler indices, we told all these things. If it is a Doppler, I told you, uterine blood, umbilical, venicular ductus venosus. So that is all this thing is there. We may not go very detail of this all this thing at undergraduate level, but we should know uterine blood flow is decreased, umbilical blood flow is ductus venosus, and there will be abnormal middle cellular inside the brain. So this is all these things you need to know all these things. There is abnormal all these things. Decreased blood supply to the baby, decrease blood supply to the baby. So we will be careful that indicate baby is in risk, baby is in asphyxic condition. That is so this is on this thing is there. So this is all this summarize all this thing. If it is a ductus venosus is that it is a very critical. Middle cerebral artery, that is again it is increased vascularly. Then again that is it's very. So you have to be very careful all this thing. So that is very important. Management. So once you know the diagnosis, all these things, the diagnosis, all these things. So how to manage this bill? So how to manage this? So that is just once you diagnose this thing, how to manage it. Basic management is early diagnosis. Early diagnosis, confirmation of diagnosis, and this thing. So when you'll see this mainly self-identity. So early diagnosis, whether from history, from previous pregnancy, history, previous pregnancy, or certain investigation. So early diagnosis, treat the causes, general. Treat the causes. Etiological causes. There may be nutritional causes. There may be that is a medical causes. There may be other things. So you have to treat the causes, and that is also that is and general. What we are managing this monitoring, fetal surveillance, maternal services during pregnancy, and plan the delivery. When to delivery, where to delivery, what how to arrange for delivery, who are the person you are going to involve with management, all these things. You have to plan accordingly. Once you diagnose all these things, it is your responsibility to plan the delivery, how to deliver all these things. After delivery, how to take care of these babies, all this. Because we are having small babies. We have to think for all these things after delivery, not only intrauterine, antenatal, but also after delivery, during delivery also. So we will take it. You should, once you know the complication, what could be the possible complication, then you have to manage accordingly. So first thing that is history, all these things. I told you all these things. That is some maternal habitus, all these things. Management is all these things. At first visit, you have to ask the history, any risk factors of the previous history, any medical history, all these things. So again, you have to examine the patient, maternal habits, smoking, tobacco, smoking, alcohol, all these things. Baby, that is BMI, body mass weight, all these things. Age of the patient. If it is extreme age, adolescent, and that is elderly, pregnant lady, that is BP, all this. What we are taking during all this. And laboratory investigation, hemoglobin, whether she is this thing. whether she is anemic, blood sugar, if she has a diabetes or not, renal function, whether it is abnormal, torch, it's very important torch, because infection, maternal infection is responsible for that is small for that case. So in history, we'll take all these things. Then again, that is a fetal evolution. Once you suspect all these things, then it is a clinical examination. All these things, fundal height, symphysis pubic, all these things, measuring the symphysis fundal height, all these things. Any discrepancy more than 4 weeks, any discrepancy more than 20 they have to consider all this. So ultrasound, growth restriction, amniotic, congenital anomalies. Suppose in fetal condition, that congenital anomaly is also responsible for small for death baby or low birth weight. Treatment of undernourished. If your patient is hypertension, you have to treat with disease and smoke. Protein energy supply. If the nutrition is poor, daily labor, hard working women, all these things. Adequate rest is also required. All this. General means I told you, recent most of this Indian people also daily worker, all these things. Then they have to take proper rest. Rest in later half of the pregnancy, they have to take lateral position to it enhance this uteroplacental flow, because if you just lie in supine position, what happens that uterus compress this inferior vena cava and circulation will decrease. So ideal, that is the left lateral position is advised. Nutrition, that is should be increase all these things, calories and all these things. You have to increase calorie and protein and that is carbohydrate. Particularly protein, you have to add that is such a normal requirement of protein for normal individual is around average is 1 gram per kg of body weight. But in pregnancy, you need more, at least 15 to 20 gram of protein extra, daily requirement. Again, if it is a multiple pregnancy, again you have to take more. Along with that, hematinic, again that is iron and calcium is also. So that is all this thing. Again, if you have that identified IUGR, you have to improve the nutritional status of this. Maternal oxygen therapy administration, again, suppose there is a asphyxia, then you have to get. Suppose the maternal oxygen therapy, when you get the cardiac disease, severe anemia, all these things compromise case, you have to provide. Not only rest, you have to give oxygen therapy. Pharmacological therapy, when this is in previous listing, pharmacological therapy, what we are doing is all these things to increase the all these things. Aspirin, low dose aspirin, it is helpful. This can be started after the first trimester and keep continue till 37. So this also helps in this. And steroid, that is particularly steroid. The steroid is given to improve the fetal lung maturity. So enhance the fetal lung maturity. So we are giving dexamethasone or butamethasone 12 milligram every 12 hours. It is answer. Now we are giving dexamethasone 6 milligram every 12 hours for 4 doses. So it enhances the fetal lung maturation. And when it is detected, that is also you treat this preeclampsia. If sugar is there, you have to treat the diabetes. If it is not controlled with oral hypoglycemic agent, you have to change to that is insulin therapy. All this and fetal surveillance, daily fetal movements, number of fetal movements. It also indicates if there is a less than 10 movement on this thing. So then it's 24 hours. Mostly 24 hours will say, but patient will count morning to evening 12 hours. That is, if it is a less than 12 movement or maybe 10 less than 10, As you will count with daily fetal movement, at least you will come 3 times after breakfast, after this lunch, and after the dinner. After dinner, at least after having some milk, because empty stomach fetal movement may not be correct, all these things decrease. So when you're counting the fetal movement, tell her to take breakfast, lie her, put her hand over the abdomen and count. That is it. Not only just if the patient is watching TVs, all these things, so that is it. So when the patient, when there is that is lying on the bed, disturbed with other activities, put her hand over all these things and count for only at least 1 hour. So if movement is more than that 10, she can discontinue count. But if there is a 3-4 movement, again after lunch, she will. Again, like this, it will come to after breakfast, after lunch, and after dinner. So total together should be more than 12. That is non-stress test, that is the test to know the fetal condition, antenatal period. Here we'll see that is when there is a fetal movement, when there is a fever, non-stress test, because at least 12 movement will be there per day, all these things. When there is a fetal movement, there will be increase in fetal heart rate, at least 15 beats per minute, and it should persist for 30 seconds. So during movement, fetal heart rate increases by 15 beats per minute, and it should persist for 15 seconds. So this is all this thing in biophysical profile. Weekly we will do on this thing. Biophysical profile, other thing is what we are doing is manning. Manning is a general body fetal movement, that is breathing movement, tone of all this thing, amniotic fluid index. There are 5 things and NST. NST, body movement, tone, breathing movement, amniotic fluid. Each parameter has for 2 each. If anything is more than 6, then we'll just, if it is less than 6, you have to monitor more frequently. Amniotic fluid. These are all these things there. And another thing is the Doppler study. That is Doppler study. So the systolic diastolic umbilical artery, ductus venosus artery, middle cellular artery. Just it will say if any decrease in blood flow. That is it. So that is all this thing we have to timing of this business. Once you time this something, when to deliver all these babies. So this is all this thing is we have to plan accordingly when to deliver the baby, all this. So timing of the delivery. So timing of the delivery, all these things, fasting. Once it is a diagnosis, it is IUD, we have to know it is a symmetrical or asymmetrical or combination of this. Basically symmetrical, asymmetrical. If it is in one form of all these things, then we can monitor the baby at least will be. And time of delivery. Time of delivery, as long as baby is mature, all these things. And degree of asphyxia, associated medical condition. Then we have to monitor. Each patient are not same. We have to individualize the patient. This is the individual is which baby need to be monitored, which baby we can allow till term, which baby has to be terminated, all this. And this is and what is then that is also that's why terminal. And place of delivery. Place of delivery. All the IUVs should be delivered its tertiary center. Because small baby, there should be facilities for neonatal ICU, that you may get asphyxia with neonatal ICU. So pediatrician should be available. Anesthesis should be available because anytime we have to terminate, you may go for cesarean section, that is also. So anesthetist, pediatrician, and that is gynecologist. This is a combination of all these things and neonatal unit where they can handle the small baby, preterm baby, IUGR baby, asphyxious baby. This thing is important for this. So with that condition, we have to plan the delivery. So that's it. So we have to monitor the baby. Mode of delivery, again there will be mode of delivery. Which route we should give the delivery, all these things. We have to decide all these things. So again, decision has to be taken according to the baby condition, mostly baby condition, whether asphyxiated or not. So fetus is significant IU here. Preferably delivery is provide intrapregnant metal at mental. So that is also. So that is also, if it is majority of that is symmetrical baby, normally their baby, they can be allowed all this. And if profile is not assuring, we can do directly cesarean section. So asphyxious probability, high risk baby, cesarean section has to be. If you allow for vaginal delivery, there is intrauterine compression, premature babies, all these things. Again, there is intrapartum, chances of intrapartum asphyxia. Intrapartum asphyxia. So we have to deliver. We do not want to put pressure over head. So cesarean section. So cesarean section what entails if it is a compromised baby, dyslection, profile is non-assurated, reverse dash deleted, you have to then deliver immediately baby child. So this is all this thing is there that is understood. That is estimation of what we are doing during little monitoring all this. Once it is a restriction already detected, then you have to confirm the diagnosis. Once suggested, basic ideation is just to good have healthy baby. We want a healthy baby. If it is a period of gestation is more than 37 weeks, better to deliver the patient. Don't put her under it. Because the environment inside the uterus is not good. Once babies come out, there is a significant improvement of the neonate after delivery. So that is better to deliver matured baby, fetal long matured, deliver the patient without thinking. Gestational age, we can allow normal vaginal delivery also. Gestational age, if it is less than them, again you have to monitor assessment of all this. Depend upon baby condition, you can give her that is at a normal vaginal delivery, or you can give allow her for the cesarean section. So this is all these things, complications of IUGR. So complications of IUGR, all these things, what could be the possible complications? So this is all this very important complications of the IUGR. So that is what the other things asphyxia, perinatal risk, is asphyxia, meconium asphyxia, respiratory distress, neonatal hypoglycemia, hypothermia, hyperbilirubinemia, hyperprolactinemia. That is also hypercalcemia, hyperviscosity, encephalopathy, necrotizing. These are the very that is because asphyxia, because oxygen supply is less, there will be asphyxia. Mechanism aspiration, there is a there is a decrease in amniotic fluid on these things. Respiratory distress syndrome, all these things. So respiratory distress syndrome, it is here. So respiratory distress, how will non-distress restriction? Again, there will be respiratory. Immediately, baby is born, will see that is also. So there is struggling for breathing, that is granting, respiratory distress, granting will be there. Here will be the case intercostal muscle. So there is ingrowing of the intercostal muscle. That is also. So that is all this thing. How will the baby is asphyxia and this thing. So intercostal muscle. Color of this dog, color of the baby. There is bluish color of this baby. So normal baby will have pink color. All this thing. So these are the things respiratory grunting. All these things need oxygen supply. Neonatal hypoglycemia because sometimes this is in diabetic patient. Anything less than 40 milligram per deciliter baby with hypothermia because neonatal disease that the IUGR baby skin over the subcutaneous fat is less. Subcutaneous fat is less all these things. So what happened? That is again that is hypothermia will take because they cannot tolerate. So we have to put this baby in warmer, all these things. So this is all this hyperbilirubinemia. Most time liver is affected, premature liver is there, there will be up the conjugation of liver. So in case of the hypercalcemia, because of this hyperviscosity, since anoxia, there is erythropoiesis there, that is also, so erythropoiesis, that is red vessel increase, hyperviscosity, that is if it is the hyperviscosity, that is also a smell is increased. There will be obstruction of the microcirculation, capillary the organs will be concerned and these are the all things we have to see in this case also. So that's why you need ICU, you need to tackle all these babies. Because also not only that, that is just monitoring all these things, we have to do all this. Again, long-term outcome, that is again, we see that is long-term. Maybe IQ may be less on this thing. That is. These are all these things, study shows this thing, that their baby, and all these things followed up of that. They are susceptible for coronary heart disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, this is stroke, long-term. These are things that you develop. There is chance of this condition in later half of this long term after. So prevent all these conditions. If you take care the antenatal care diagnosis, all these things, you can prevent all this because high-age babies are susceptible for all these things. So this is in on this stage of taking. So this is all about that is mistake. I have covered that the diagnosis, that the definition, etiology, diagnosis, congen- congenital complications, antenatal management during pregnancy, and after delivery. You have to take care of this. I think it is covered on this thing. So thank you very much on this thing. Stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself. Okay, bye. Hello. Ah, hello. 148. 130. 136. How to 146? 36, na? Okay. Out of 146, na? 48, na? Okay, okay. We'll just inform, na? All this.
అయిపోయింది కానీ ఇక్కడ మన ఐటీ వాళ్ళు వస్తున్నారు